AYUNTA Etna Bianco, DOC. I'm just waiting to get the wine, but this one is called Piante Sparse, which means stray vines. It's one of my favorite grape varieties, 90% Caricante and 10% Catarato, approximately, because this is an old vineyard, and so it's the vines that were interspersed or were planted amongst the red vines. They're not quite sure why people did that in the past, whether it was because they wanted to add a bit of freshness and acidity to the reds, or whether it was to make a white wine for themselves. But these wines are made from a selection of small little pockets, if you like, of stray vines, or Piante Sparse, in the vineyard. And so they follow them, and they have to pick them very selectively. I like Caricante so much because it has, at its very best, when it's at its best, it has this laser-like, precise acidity and focus. It has a real drive about it and energy. And having tasted some of the Bananti wines, which are probably the oldest established people who produce the white Pietramarino wine, I really appreciated how well these wines can age. So it's great to see more of these wines, and they're very food friendly. I remember having this a wine made from Caricante with a sort of a steamed swordfish, and the combination was really delightful. Up to that point, I'd eaten a lot of swordfish living in Sicily for a while, but it had never been steamed, so it made it much more delicate in style and went with this sort of lime laser-like focus. It's almost as if there's a Riesling gene in there somewhere, but a lot of DNA analysis is still to be done on Italian varieties, but in a way, that's what makes them still so exciting and different. So this one is from a 2.8 hectare old vineyard, 700 meters above sea level on the northern slopes of Mount Etna and close to the village of Randanzo, about 1 hour's drive north of Catania. No chemicals used in the vineyard, and the name AYUNTA comes from a phrase that the owner's grandmother used to say to him, which was in Sicilian dialect, in order to get him to drink more milk. So she'd say, drink up, drink up. So that's where the name comes from.
There is this very famous verse by the greatest Italian poet of the 20th century, Eugenio Montale, when he talks about the flower growing on a volcano. And this becomes a metaphor of the human destiny, that we are, lost on this planet, and we are really very fragile like a flower. But why I'm talking about this is that we have this vision of Etna wines being very austere and very tight because they grow on this very difficult terroir. But actually what I love about the white wines of this area is that they are often very floral, and they're actually very approachable. They're very nice to drink. So when we were looking at the list and deciding which wine to present, we had the choice of AYUNTA's red wine, but I actually thought the white wine would be something really interesting to show today, so I hope Filippo AYUNTA, who is with us, agrees. And this floral character, as you know, Etna is now considered the hottest wine terroir probably in Italy and beyond. Everybody wants to be on Etna. The richest wine producers are buying hectares there. And I'm not surprised, because there is something very sensual and very approachable to these wines, but of course there is also structure and depth from the special terroir, and the combination is really exciting.